Okay, what up, Claytriots? It's your boy, Technically Clay, streaming at you from sunny St. Louis, Missouri. How is everybody doing today? I hope everybody's doing great out there. I'm doing great over here. It looks like a beautiful day. Yesterday I got some sun. I don't know if you can tell. I, I am obviously a very pasty boy, so I sunburn pretty easily. So I was outside a decent amount yesterday, so it happens. Let's see. Since the last time you saw me, I went and canvassed for Corey Bush, one of my friends from work. She came along with us. I think she had a good time. I didn't know that she was actually a member of DSA as well, um, so that was interesting to find out. And then afterwards, I went and hung out at a local bar and had a few brews with some of the people from DSA. It was a lot of fun. I like having, as someone who is like very, politically active and like I always say I'm like terminally online politics guy or whatever. It's nice to have other terminally online politics people to talk about the minutia of leftist politics that because usually I'm just like I mean I talk to you guys obviously out there, but usually I'm just left thinking about all this stuff myself, and I don't have an opportunity to you know flex my rhetorical muscles with other people. I think it was fun. If I my inner autist gave that social interaction an 8 out of 10, so I think I did pretty good. Has anyone else the type of person that like when they were younger? I don't do this anymore, but when I was younger, I used to straight up like rate my days of like how good I did. Like I would be like, okay, today was like a 7 out of 10. Like I did pretty good today. And then like some days I would be like, oh man, today was like a 2 out of 10. I did really bad today. Is that me? Is that I've never actually officially been tested for autism. At the very least, I'm pretty sure I have social anxiety, but I don't know if it rises to the level of autism. Although I did do weird stuff. I did on my math papers, like whenever I used to do math homework, I used to always fit like I used to write really tiny. I would do 2 lines of math per line of notebook paper, which is insane. And then I would always try to fit it onto 1 page. If it went over to 2 pages, I was like, nah, that can't let it happen. So I would literally like divide each paper into like three, like each like the front side of the paper into 3 sections, where I would then do it all the way, all the way down one section, all the way down another, 2 lines per line of notebook paper, and then all the way down the other. Then I would flip it over and do the same thing. Yeah, that's a little bit like filling up the entire piece of paper in its entirety. It wasn't even straight lines too. I would do one line of math like on the side, and then I would like cut out the little portions down the page so that I could fit as much space into one single sheet of paper as possible. So you know what? That's why I don't really mind when I talk about when I say things like my autism made me do it or whatever, like, because I do feel like there's something going wrong in my brain. I don't know what it is, but what was I even talking about, man? Okay, back to where I was. So yeah, I had a few brews with them, did good. Social interaction was 8 out of 10. Could have been slightly better, but overall really good. And then after that, I came home. My wife's sister was over. They were playing some video games together, so she was on my computer. Um, and honestly, I was already pretty exhausted from because I had, walked around canvassing for like 3-ish hours or so. Um, I had, been socializing that entire time with my coworker, and then also afterwards, I hung out at a bar, had a couple beers for 2 hours outside in the sun, um, you know, uh, socializing again for another hour or two, or I guess 2 hours or so. So by the time I got back, I was pretty exhausted. So I just grabbed my wife's Steam Deck, went and laid on the couch and played some more video games. And then I ended up just falling asleep. And I eventually made it up to the bed, but I was very, very tired. I ended up probably going to sleep at like 8:30 yesterday. Um, The sun takes a lot out of you, man. Just being out in the sun for, 5 hours or whatever, it can be pretty exhausting. So anyway, after that, I passed out, went to sleep. I woke up this morning. I uploaded a video that I meant to upload yesterday, but I kind of forgot, or I scheduled it at least. I think I scheduled it for 10. It's just a short, but and then I clipped a couple things from yesterday's nerdy ass stream where for those unaware, yesterday I did a D&D character analysis, my new character that I created for my wife's upcoming campaign that she's running. So I thought it went pretty well. I thought that stream, I don't know. I also did some gaming as well. I want to do more gaming streams. I'm thinking I'm going to take at least one day per week to just do like gaming or, other non-political stuff streaming, because they're, number one, they're significantly easier. Like I don't have to think as hard or get as mad or whatever, because politics stuff can be pretty rage inducing sometimes. So like, I don't know. It's very chill. I'm thinking maybe Saturdays I'll just do either a gaming or like a non-politics stream, just to switch things up, because I need a break from it too every once in a while. But anyway, today though, then I made some coffee, came back up here to now stream for you lovely people, for you the viewer. Hello. Yeah, so like I was saying, yesterday was a non-politics stream, but today we're going back to politics. This is going to be just a normal everyday technically clay stream. So I hope you all are ready for it. Today I did want to start off with something a little bit different though. Instead of going straight into Iran stuff, I'm going to start off with this rally from California. I think it's from LA, like the LA congressional race or something, or San Francisco, I guess. Saikot. I always forget how to say it because it looks like Saikot, but I think I've heard people say Shoikot. So sorry about that. So I was, this is from the Hassan's YouTube channel. I'm not going to watch the Hassan portion. I really just want to watch, I had started watching this the other day while I was working out. And Jamal Bowman was up here speaking, and it was just getting me so pumped that I was like, okay, this is sick. I gotta play this for the stream. So I stopped it about the halfway point so that I could react to the rest of it with you guys. But Jamal Bowman is an incredible speaker, very powerful, both physically, as you can see, and also in his speeches or whatever, like his words are very powerful. So I kind of wanted to start off with this because, people like Jamal Bowman. And so Jamal, for those unaware, is I can't remember which district he was in exactly, but I know he was ousted by AIPAC. In the same congressional, or the same race that or the same cycle, sorry, that Cori Bush was ousted by AIPAC. So I think they spent $9 million against Cori Bush to get Wesley Bell elected. And I don't even know I can't even remember who the guy who replaced Jamal Bowman, or girl who replaced Jamal Bowman, was. But I think they spent like 20 million against him or something. So even more. He definitely deserves a spot. He definitely deserves a spot in political power, I think. So let's go ahead and watch some of the speech. Let's get a little bit wound up, get the energy up on the stream up a little. Let's watch Jamal Bowman on this video. I think because this is Hassan's YouTube channel, I assume this is from his stream or whatever. But let's hear what he has to say.
But I want to center us in this movement right now. We are here because of people and children like Hind Rajab, whose family was slaughtered in Gaza when 335 bullets hit her family's car.
Yeah.
Tens of thousands of children killed in Gaza with the U.S.-backed and sponsored genocide.
See, this was exactly why he was ousted. He wasn't afraid to say this stuff even back then. He might have had slightly softened language after October 7th, but he was very much I forget, was the cycle, it was in 2024, right? It was let's see. Yeah, 2024. So it was essentially 1 year after the Gaza genocide began, or like the modern iteration of genocide. I don't like saying that it was a genocide even before October 7th, but the acceleration of the genocide after October 8th. So he was out there saying this stuff. He might have been a little bit more cautious back then, but yeah, he was always fighting for justice, which is something that we need in our politicians.
Tens of thousands of women, children, and innocent people killed in Gaza by U.S. dollars and weapons. We are here also because of George Floyd.
Yes.
9 minutes, 29 seconds.
A lot of people also don't remember that the George Floyd, his murder and the BLM uprisings that happened after that. The people in Palestine, this was some of the first times that I really I really started to pay a lot more attention to Palestine. Was the people in Palestine started they were painting murals of George Floyd on on their buildings and stuff, and they were they were explaining to people in the media how the same oppression that the police were using against George Floyd was the exact same type of oppression that and black people in general, but was the exact same type of oppression, maybe not in scale, but in substance, as what the Palestinians were being subjected to by their occupiers. And so from like a narrative perspective, I think that was incredibly important, because it really helped me personally start to pay a lot more attention to it. And I was like, yeah, you're right. This is the same exact the same exact type of oppressive force that is being subjected against people over here and over there. The universalizing of that, I think, was very important to the Palestinian movement, and it helped get a lot of the more left progressive types to really align with the Palestinians and be more aware and be ready for the inevitable situation that was about to come with Israel's acceleration of the genocide of the Palestinians. So yeah, from a tactical perspective, I thought that was really incredible. But I just wanted to link those two. He's linking them right here, but they were already linked by the Palestinians themselves, who did an incredible job of doing that sort of making that case to American citizens.
Lynched in front of the entire world. Shame. We are here because of Jamal Khashoggi. Yes. And all of the journalists who gave their lives to bring us to.
Yeah, Jamal Khashoggi, I think, was the one who was murdered by Saudi Arabia, right? Am I wrong? Khashoggi. Yeah, Saudi journalist and dissident. So yeah, he was the one that Saudi Arabia killed. But there's also Akla, I think was her name, the one who was murdered by the IDF. And generally, I did a segment the other day. The IOF has the Israeli Occupation Forces have killed like 300 journalists or something, maybe even more now, in Gaza. They are targeting journalists and killing, like, journalists have never been killed in the history of humanity at the rate that they have been over the past couple of years. It's unprecedented. The world has never seen this level of targeted killing of journalists in all of its history.
Genocide in Gaza. This is not the time to
the only democracy in the Middle East, right? A free liberal democracy with freedom of the press. Oh wait, it kills every journalist that ever even slightly challenges the narrative of Zionism. Yeah, it's so free. What a free press they have over there. Israel is you don't have to hear me say Israel's the worst. They're pure evil.
only fight against Donald Trump. We need to fight against a system designed to keep us separated, divided, marginalized, and oppressed.
Yeah.
This system has been designed this way from the inception of America. The genocide of the indigenous people.
Yep.
The enslavement of my ancestors. But you know what else we had throughout American history?
There's a through line there too. There's a through line throughout all of that. We created our country on a foundation of genocide, and it was never really acknowledged. Never really, there was never reparations. There was never any sort of anything to lessen that burden on the soul of our country, which we needed. We needed some way to lessen that burden on the soul of our country, because we're starting to see that, like, and then obviously there was the enslavement of African Americans. All of these are forms of apartheid, by the way. I mean, the genocide is like a step above or whatever, but like that was like a form of apartheid. Then Jim Crow was another, iteration of apartheid. And then we never repaired. We never repaired that. We never like really sincerely acknowledged and repaired that systematic problem that we had. And then here we are now in the era, like as we're descending back into an era of into a modern fascist state or whatever, allowing Israel to do the exact same sort of indigenous genocide that we did before. These things have consequences when you don't address them. When you don't address them materially, as the problems of the past or whatever, you're doomed to just like live in a perpetual cycle of violence. That's why I'm always for things like reparations and stuff. Honestly, it might be too little too late at this point, but like I think that anything to lessen that burden on the soul of our country is like necessary.
History, we had freedom fighters that fought the fuck back.
Yeah.
And right now, today, we are those freedom fighters. And that's why we say, unapologetically, fuck ICE.
Fuck ICE. Oh yeah, brother.
ICE.
Fuck ICE.
Fuck ICE. Fuck ICE.
Yeah. Dude, I love Jamal Bowman. He's so badass, dude. Also, I don't know if you guys know this. He can bench 4 plates, dude. It's crazy. It's like 400 pounds. He's insanely strong.
And that is why we say, unapologetically, fuck APAC!
Fuck APAC!
Fuck APAC!
Hell yeah.
Fuck APAC! Fuck APAC! Because APAC, guess what? You knew APAC, that our movement was so powerful that you had to spend $25 million to get me out of Congress.
Yep. I think we're almost getting past that, man. APAC is finding ways to try to trick people, like to try to pretend like they're not, like not have their name associated with the candidates they want elected. Um, but I'm just so happy that, like, I mean, number one, currently it's still possible to track where all of their donors are fleeing to, like what organizations they're fleeing to or whatever. So like as of now, it's still possible to know who is the APAC candidate. I think at some point they're going to try to loosen transparency laws or whatever to make it so it's much harder to know that, just because of how, you know, how much of an impact it's having on them right now. But yeah, and then but APAC, I used to say like even if APAC went, like, because sometimes you have to figure, you know, look for silver linings and stuff. Even though APAC won against Jabal Bowman and Cori Bush on that election cycle, they had to spend ungodly amounts of money, right? I like to, like, sometimes I take inspiration from like you know, resistance groups, and like you don't always, you know, win every, you know, every battle or whatever, but you just impose cost, right? You impose as much cost as possible, and then eventually it becomes unsustainable. And so at this point, I don't even know if there is any level of money that APAC could spend to actually win an election just with their name or whatever. If they are able to hide it well enough, they probably could, but
You have won that battle, but we will win the motherfucking war.
oh yeah.
Because we are about to elect Saikat Chakrabarti to be the next. Make some noise for Saikat! We are about to elect Malad Kiros to be the next Congresswoman in Denver, Colorado. We are about to elect Carrie Elisa to be the next Congresswoman in New York 13. And we are electing new members of Congress in local races up and down the motherfucking country.
Yeah.
And so, we always want
Yeah, burn down the old Democratic Party and build something new. I mean, I think that we're getting there. We're getting there. We just need to get, you know, we need to, the Democratic Party, the people who we are getting elected need to take charge. They need to take power in whatever way that they can, whether that's, you know, going against leadership on immoral votes, that sort of stuff. But also just like, hopefully if we have enough, you know, we can get actual people into leadership roles, which can then, you know, lead the party in a better direction. I think the majority of the Democratic like voter base is, you know, on the side of these types of candidates, and not on the side of like the Chuck Schumers and you know, just standard neoliberal centrist corporate Democrats. So like I think we do have the people, and I think they're scared right now, which is good. But we don't want them to just be scared. We want them to be gone. So you know, I think we'll keep pushing forever. It never stops. It's a never-ending journey. Getting justice, getting you know, righting past wrongs, getting you know, dreaming of a better future, trying to attain that better future. It's a never-ending fight. Unfortunately, there's never going to be a situation where we get there and then everything's perfect. It's always a constant struggle, constant vigilance, as Mad Eye Moody would say.
keep in our thoughts and our prayers and our hearts all of the people we have lost, all of the people who gave their lives for this movement, not just now, but historically. And just to pick up on what Darren Lisa said, our movement hasn't even reached its full potential yet. We are and will continue to get stronger. stronger every single day. We have to. We have no choice. Because I am not going to live under fucking fascism.
Hell yeah.
I am not going to live under techno-feudalism and surveillance. I do not want to live in a country where we constantly spend money on wars but can't feed the poor.
Oh yeah.
And so, are you ready for the progressive takeover of Congress? I said, are you ready for the progressive takeover of Congress? Because we're not just going to win this cycle. We're going to win and build a new fucking America.
Oh yeah. A new revolution, baby. A new American founding. I mean, I think we really need it, man. I think we do, honestly. I think we need a new American founding. I think we need a new revolution. You know, it doesn't have to necessarily be like a violent revolution, but I need like a new, just a change in our system, a fundamental change in our system. And I hope and I pray that we can get there. I hope that we can get there in my lifetime. I want to see what America can truly be if we're, you know, out from under the thumb of our like pedo billionaire overlords. Like, I think that America can be a great country. I really do. Like, I believe in the people of America. The people of America are, you know, like, they have their problems. They're selfish. They're unaware generally a lot. They're usually like, you know, but a lot of that is also taught though. And I think can be untaught as well. I think that we can, you know, but the things that I love about America is I do think that we have very, like the people of America is I do think we have, very like strong-minded and strong-willed people. We have people who, you know, at least on the individual level, don't like being oppressed or, you know, don't like feeling like controlled. In some senses, they're a little reactionary in that regard, but I think that can be channeled to a more healthy place as well. And I like everything that we do to the max. Like, I mean, also it's sometimes annoying in how we do it here because it usually involves things like we usually channel that towards things like consumerism or, you know, like extremes in terms of like how we eat or whatever, those types of things. But, you know, all of these things though they can be positives if we just channel them in the right direction. And so I do think America can be, you know, can be something great. And we are incredibly diverse, which is an incredible upside. You know, I think that, I don't know. I believe that America can be something better than what it is right now. I'm trying to help us get there. That's my personal goal. Even if, you know, whatever little bit I can do, I hope that I can help people get to, you know, help people understand things in a way that they can, you know, go out there and help others understand, and eventually we get this country into a, towards a more just and noble state. That's what I hope.
Not one for the rich and well-connected, psycho, savage, evil, devil, pedophile, Epstein.
Hey. I was just talking about that.
We're not just going to win this cycle. We're going to win a new America, but listen, we got to build it. It's on us. It's on each and every one of us to build a progressive House of Representatives, to reform the fucking Supreme Court, end the filibuster, to get Medicare for all.
By the way, all of these things that he's saying are things that we should do day one of a new Democrat presidency. Trump has achieved what no Democrat would have ever been allowed to achieve in terms of power for the executive branch. He has ignored court orders. He has blatantly violated the law all the time with his executive orders. You know, like the next Democrat who gets in there should be like, okay, every conservative justice is now immediately disbarred. They are immediately off the court. All conservative ones who made terrible decisions, they're all gone. I will replace them all with 5 incredibly progressive, preferably leftist justices. Day one, they are gone. We have a new Supreme Court. The new Supreme Court will be charged with overturning all of their stupid decisions that they made under the past, you know, this past time period. Like I would say, go ahead and do that on day one. Like day one, you should also, Trump has shown that, oh, you can just take ownership of companies, right? Like you can take ownership stakes of companies. So I would say day one, seize Amazon. Be like, Amazon is now a government company. You know, we own Amazon. We will seize all of the wealth that Bezos has. It is now ours. Bezos is going to be charged for treason against this country for, you know, his influence over American politics, like stuff like that. Just do it day one. And also do the Trump fire hose strategy. Do the Trump fire hose strategy of every single day you're doing something and the media can't keep up with it all, right? Like but you're doing all these good things, like things that people, you know, that would be beneficial for the working class. Just, you know, every single day do something, and then the media can't keep up. The courts can't keep up. Like we've seen how Trump was able to effectively do this. And now it's our turn. And the courts are going to try and stop you, and the system is going to try to stop you every step of the way. Just say, fuck it. Who cares? You know, that's my personal opinion. And use the treason charge very liberally. Like as in like, these people, they have corrupted our politics. They do not care about the American populace. They only care about their own wealth and the wealth of the global pedophile elites, right? So, you know, charge them with treason. Be like, they are treasonous against the United States. Their politics, the amount of money that they've used to corrupt our politics, the amount of things that they've gotten through backroom deals and bribes. These are all treasonous against the United States, and use that charge very liberally. That's what I would. Those are some of the just initial things that I would do if I was, if I became president of the United States.
But in order to get this, first and foremost, we got to win on June 2nd. Yes. And so everyone in this audience, everybody watching, everybody listening, we need you to join the phone bank, we need you to knock doors, and we need you to do that through the election so my brother Saikat can win. And so without further ado, I think it's time to bring the next brother on. You ready? Awesome. So listen, I love y'all. Make some noise for yourselves. That was kind of weak. Y'all all love yourself?
Jamal Bowman, dude, he's so rad. He's so much fun. Okay, cool. Anyway, well, let's see what he says here. He could be a fucking WWE announcer. He's so energetic. I loved it, man. Great high energy, off to a great start for this stream. Seriously though, Jamal Bowman is the best. Such a good speaker, so powerful, both physically and in mind, or like his words, like I said earlier. There you go, people. That was a good inspirational thing to start off the stream with. Now let's get into the less inspirational stuff. We're going to Iran news content yet again, people. It never stops. So since the last time we talked, let's see, I think that there had been some strikes on facilities on the Iranian coast. I know Iran had captured a vessel an oil tanker, and was also firing, I think, on some American ships. And now, apparently, the UK and France are ready to get involved. NATO is no longer sitting on their lazy asses, and they are sending some warships to the Middle East. So let's go ahead and let's watch this video. Let's see what's going on here. This is from Fox News.
So as Lucas just mentioned, Britain and France have sent warships to the Middle East as part of a possible mission to try to secure the Strait of Hormuz. All this as America's historic military buildup in the region remains.
Look at this. Look at this. Do you see this? Look at all of these American ships that are already there. And the UK and France think they're going to do fucking anything. What the fuck are they going to do? This is the most pointless symbolic mission that I've ever seen. And trust me, that is what it is. This is just a symbolic thing. This is only to make this is supposed to, like, in theory, the purpose of this is supposed to make Iran feel like it's more isolated, because America has these allies that are actually going to go, you know, who are actually going to do something with them or whatever. I don't think this even really works anymore. This seems very symbolic to me.
In place. Let's bring in retired U.S. Navy Captain Bob Wells. Captain Wells, I think a lot of people thought that Iran would have thrown in the towel by now, that, you know, after
Not me. Hey, if you're listening to Technically Clay stream over here, you would know that I have predicted long and hard that this is going to be a long conflict, and it's going to be I said that it was definitely going to last more than the 4 to 6 weeks that they were saying. I was saying until November. The midterms is probably when Iran originally said that they were planning on keeping this up. But yeah, I also said that Iran is, there's nothing America can do here. Iran is able to sustain. It is already proven that it is able to sustain itself as a country throughout heavy bombing and throughout decades of sanctions. And what, this one blockade is suddenly going to make them collapse? No. They can last indefinitely. That was my position from the beginning, and that is still my position, is that they could last indefinitely under the current circumstance. America and the global economy cannot. So that's why it's inevitable that Iran is going to emerge victorious from this.
They had their leadership decapitated and so much of their infrastructure, their navy destroyed, that they would have simply thrown up their hands and said, okay, we'll do whatever you want.
Anybody who thought that was stupid. Anybody who thought that was stupid. They're stupid. Very, very stupid. Unserious people who do not have the capability to analyze geopolitical situations if they thought that.
Hasn't that happened, do you think?
Because, thanks again for having me on, John. Because they're a revolutionary regime, and I don't buy the fact that there's a divided government. I think they do have an IRGC government. I really think it's time. It's very compelling also to think about those 1,500 ships and the 20,000 sailors and seafarers in the Gulf. They've endured 60 days right now. It's really time to set them free. I really would advocate very strongly that we need to start Project Freedom again. I think we have the capability, as you showed, with the tremendous...
They better go talk to Saudi Arabia. They were the ones who apparently got pissed off about Project Freedom, Operation Epic Freedom. They didn't like it, so they, you know, and then Trump backed off whenever Saudi said nah. So you should go talk to them.
First posture the United States has, not only for the blockade, but also for our destroyers, which are in the Strait of Hormuz, that have transited into the Persian Gulf. So I do think the American Dome, communicating to the seafarers, building confidence that they can count on the United States to protect them, to go through this cleared passage lane through the Omani waters. The Iranians are not going to negotiate, in my view. I think they're just stalling for time.
General,
they live in a fantasy world, dude. There's no world where a importer exporter person is going to send a ship full of billions of dollars worth of oil through a conflict zone like this. The only thing that would make them do that if America went bye-bye, if America left the region in its entirety and said, Iran, you win. That's the only situation like that they would start shipping through that. And they would all just go through the tolling system that Iran set up. So that is a dumb analysis. Project Epic Freedom won't do jack shit.
Jack Keane, who's well known to our Fox viewers, says very much the same. He thinks it's time to maybe end the ceasefire and resume some strikes on Iran. Listen.
Okay.
We went to a ceasefire about a month
Crypt
ago.
Keeper.
From the Iranians' perspective, that's what they wanted to achieve: stop the war. And we were supposed to get a negotiated deal in a couple of weeks. It did happen. They have purposely.
No. Iran didn't care if the strikes continued. I mean, yes, it was bad for the people of Iran, generally speaking. But in all honesty, Iran had even greater leverage during the actual hot war. Because they were escalating in tandem with America. And they still kind of are now to an extent. At first, when America was attempting to do provocations like they always do, it's the same strategy that Israel does. Like there's a ceasefire and then they do provocations to try to see how far they can go or whatever. And so America was trying to do that with Iran. And then Iran just retaliated right back by like seizing a vessel or by like shooting back at them and like hitting their Navy assets as they try to go through the strait. So to some extent, I think they've regained their leverage that they had in the eyes of America, probably. But yeah, this guy, he's also just like, he's living in a fantasy world too. If we go back into a hot war, okay, then Iran goes back into a hot war. Also, I keep saying we went through 50% of our missiles in 6 weeks of war. 50%. That means at most we have another 6 weeks of war left in us, and then we're done. We're done until our $1 trillion military defense budget is able to produce 20 more missiles at the end of the year or whatever. And then we can lob those 20, and then we'll just shoot 20 missiles per year at Iran. And that's what our production capability is capable of. So, okay. Like this is such a bad argument, man.
Dragging this out. It's now been a month, and we still don't have much to show for it. We want Iran back on its heels, suffering significantly and susceptible
America was on its
to
heels.
resistance from their own people, internal pressure.
Oh my
So
God.
in my judgment, I think we got to see reality for what it is.
Oh my God. They're still advocating for regime change. Dude, I always ask, how many times has an air campaign alone ever enacted regime change in all of human history? Big fat zero. Zero. Never happened. It's never happened, and it never will happen.
What do you think of that suggestion, Captain Wells?
I agree. We need to see reality for what it is. We have an
These people-
IRGC government in
They're just Israel. They must just be like being paid by the Israel lobby or something. This is, if you're like either that or they are just straight up this stupid and by American propaganda or whatever. But I have a feeling that, you know, Israel is like lining these people's pockets if they're going out and making all these arguments, because what Israel does want is America to re-enter the war in full force. So like, I think that the people who are out there pushing that are definitely at least to some extent coming at it from an Israel first perspective.
Iran that really has the leverage over the polity that is existing in Tehran. We also have IRGC capability, not only on Larak Island, but also Keshem and Siri Island and in the islands that are targeting all the international vessels there. I also think they're very, very intent on controlling the Strait of Hormuz. They recently had a political decision, an agency established to control the Strait of Hormuz. This is an international waterway.
And an email system as well for permitting people to go through or whatever.
Secretary of State Rubio said this should not stand. So we should basically continue as General Keane.
I keep asking, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? There's nothing you can do. You've already tried everything and you failed. There's nothing you can do to stop Iran from controlling the strait. You can't keep up the blockade indefinitely. It costs billions of dollars a day. You can't keep up this level of, build up over there indefinitely. Eventually you're going to have to go home and Iran will control the strait because I mean, we live in a, like, okay, you would need an entire international coalition and Iran to be completely isolated if you wanted Iran to capitulate on that. I think you would need the entire world to be against it, and you would need the entire world to like have a UN resolution saying that we are going to enforce it or whatever, and Iran to feel like there's a possibility that people would go to war with them if they actually did this. That's not the world we live in anymore. Number one, here, let me do this. Number one, international law is gone. It's donezo. There is no more international law. We let it die in Gaza. So using international law arguments like these are international waterways is incredibly stupid. Nobody buys it. Nobody believes it anymore. People even barely pretend to believe it at the top of governments as well. Number two, you did not build up the necessary coalition to go into this war. America did not build up a coalition of the willing or whatever with like NATO or whoever through years of propaganda before going into this war, like we did with Iraq. And so for that reason, most of these countries aren't really that on board with putting their troops, their people on the line to try to do this. So you're not able to isolate Iran in the same way that you would have if you did go through the necessary steps to get people on your side through a propaganda war. So like, I don't know. This is all just fantasy. Like there's nothing America can do. There is literally nothing that America can do at this point to stop Iran from controlling this waterway. It's impossible. So Iran will de facto control the waterway because Iran has the might, and we live in a might makes right world. So Iran has the might, so Iran has the right.
Mention to change and apply the Strait of Hormuz intent and keep it on the American side, communicate with all the seafarers, conduct Project Freedom, bolster diplomatically the Emirates, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, Iraq, that we're going to start this again. And let's clear the Persian Gulf and let these seafarers go home, set them free.
But you say that the Omani side of the Strait of Hormuz is clear. Clear of minds, I presume, is what you mean. Can't we just direct all those ships through that side of that very narrow choke point?
Yeah. Why aren't they just going? Could it be that the people who are running these shipping companies don't want to risk billions of dollars of cargo to go through an active war zone? Maybe.
You can. As I understand it, it's maybe 1,000 yards wide, in terms of transit passage. You protect either through escort or through overhead with the Apache helicopters, the A-10s, watching the IRGC
Why aren't they
response.
doing it?
One of the more important things to realize since this...
Why aren't they doing it? If it's open, if it's right for business, we gave them the pirate map that says, yar, go this way, turn right here, and you'll avoid the mines, yar. We gave them the pirate map. Why aren't they going?
This project...
and what are you going to do to make them willing to go? The answer is nothing, because there's nothing that would make them willing to go through this during an active wartime. The only thing that would make them go through this is if you declared the war over and went the fuck home. So it's not going to happen until you do that.
Freedom was established is that we know we've got better targeting now since the ceasefire. Where are all the IRGC, skiffs, the small boats coming from? Our main concern, though, are the drones. And looking at the possible ballistic missile hits on Emirates like they did in Fujairah. And that's a concern with regard to defending the Arab states. We need to basically underscore that we're going to protect the Gulf Cooperation Council countries, that the Strait of Hormuz will not be closed. It is an international waterway. And John,
we already proved that we can't defend them. It's impossible. We failed defending them. We were unable to defend them from Iran. We were barely unable, and we weren't able to even defend the one true ally, Israel, from Iran. So the only ally that we actually care about, we were unable to defend them, even after taking all of the missile interceptors from all the various surrounding countries, or from Korea or wherever, right? South Korea. We took all of our missile interceptors and stockpiles from all across the world and shipped them all straight to Israel, and we were unable to defend Israel from Iran's strikes. So there's nothing we can do. Again, we're literally at the limit of what America is capable of doing militarily, and I think that breaks these people's brains. They've been taught for so long. They've been taught for so long that America is capable of doing whatever it wants through military might, that it would never ever need other people to help it achieve its military objectives, that America is so strong and we spend so much ungodly amounts of money on our military that that it just takes the word of one person, our president, to go accomplish anything across the world. Now, this has always kind of been a lie. Like, we have failed many times in the past from a strategic perspective, but we have never failed to this extent that we are currently failing right now. Because even when you think about the failures of Afghanistan or the failures of Iraq or the failures of Vietnam or the failures of Korea, for all of those failures, we were able to keep up our general force projection ability. Like, people thought, okay, well, America didn't win, but it was, you know, it was an asymmetric conflict, and America did militarily dominate that country throughout the time that they were at least willing, like politically willing, to be at war with them. This is a whole different situation. Even we're not politically willing to be at war with Iran, to be clear. Our population isn't, but even in these early stages of the war, America is unable to achieve any of the even modest goals that they have set out for themselves, even as they've ramped them down as time went on, like starting from regime change to like then opening the strait or whatever to the nuclear, like just we want a nuclear deal similar to the JCPOA. Like, even as they have like slowly ramped down their expectations of this war, they have been unable to achieve even a single one of them. And most importantly, they were unable to protect any of their allies from Iran, who was a middle power, just like just a standard middle power country, and is now just like a regional superpower because they have shown what they are capable of accomplishing through military might. So like the world has never seen America fail this badly. And so that's why this one feels a lot more unique, I think, compared to our other misadventures.
Stated, the Omani waters are clear. We've cleared them of any possible mines. We just need to communicate that. We have a more robust capability as well.
All right. Retired U.S. Navy Captain Bob Wells. Captain Wells, thank you.
Thank you, John.
All right, thanks for.
That's all, man. That was a super like I say, like they live in like a fantasy world. Like they were like in, I don't know, like a Brandon Sanderson book. They were so deep in fantasy world over there. Yeah, they live on another planet. Okay, let's go with this one now. We're going to another Fox News one. This is from an hour ago. Oh wait, what? America? I think they're moving on from that though. Apparently, so the UK and France just decided to send warships to the Middle East. But this one caught my eye. This was from an hour ago. That other one that we just watched was from 8 hours ago. This one is breaking British cargo ship attacked off coast of Qatar. So it seems like Iran is already, putting up a retaliation for the UK and France for deciding to, enter this war. So let's go ahead and watch this video.
Now we're going to move to the Middle East because a British cargo ship has been attacked off the coast of Qatar as the Trump administration waits for Iran's response to their latest peace or negotiation proposal.
This, of course, as Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff meet with Qatar's prime ministers.
Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst is live in Tel Aviv with the very latest. Good morning, Trey.
Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. Another busy weekend in the region. A cargo ship off the coast of Qatar was attacked this morning. An unknown projectile hit the vessel that was about 23 nautical miles northeast of Doha, according to the UK Maritime Agency. The explosion caused a small fire that is now under control, according to reports. The incident highlights the latest in a series of events in the Persian Gulf and Strait of Hormuz that show Iran is testing the fragile ceasefire.
From our perspective, a naval blockade is considered a military act, and a military act receives a military response. Let them understand this. From now on,
I mean, it is under international law. A blockade is an act of war.
They should assign several additional escorts to their destroyers so that if one of them starts sinking, they can at least rescue and evacuate their naval forces.
While the region waits to see how Iran will respond to the latest U.S. proposal to end the war, President Trump shared a series of AI images overnight depicting Iran's navy at the bottom of the sea. President Trump was asked over the weekend about the expected Iranian response.
They're fucking shit posting AI images from the White House nowadays, man. It is it's dystopian.
Saying this.
Do you think they're slow rolling it? Do you think they're intentionally slow rolling the process?
We'll find out soon enough.
We also know.
Well, that would be weird that they're intentionally slow rolling it, considering I heard they're desperate, right? They're on the verge of economic collapse. Why would they be slow rolling it? Seems weird.
There are reports this morning in Kuwait.
By the way, I do think that they are somewhat slow rolling it. I think Iran always feels like if it bides more time, you know, it'll end up in an even more like strong position, like the longer things go on. And so I think to some extent they are slow rolling it.
Wait about Iranian drones over the country's airspace.
And sorry, the last thing before I keep pausing it, or like starting it for a second, pausing it again. But it's because America, like, will be, as time goes on, America will continue to be in a weaker and weaker bargaining position because of the state of the global economy. That's the main reason that I think they're slow rolling it.
There are reports this morning in Kuwait about Iranian drones over the country's airspace, another indication Iran is continuing their attacks against Gulf countries. Guys?
So Trey, we heard Friday night that we may get an indication from Iran. That obviously hasn't happened. It didn't come yesterday. You alluded to the president there in your report, but what's our timeline? Do we think that there may be some sort of signal from Iran today, tomorrow, this week, before the president goes to China?
Yeah, the Iranian response is expected any day. Both President Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio have.
It was supposed to be last Thursday, and then it was Friday, then it was Saturday, then it was Sunday. Like, I mean, I think that America is just like making up when they think Iran is going to respond. I don't think Iran has said exactly like even if or when they will respond.
Have indicated that Iran is expected to respond soon to the U.S. memorandum, a 14-point plan that would lead to intense negotiations to end the war. President Trump has been very clear, though. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon and they cannot have a military nuclear program. And that is drawn out in this agreement that the Iranians either have to sign, according to President Trump, or the bombing campaign against their country will resume. And so there are still tense moments across the region because not only the United States, but also the country of Israel remains on high alert, understanding that if a deal isn't reached, we're probably looking at a scenario where the United States and Israel resume to a bombing campaign against Iran.
Can I just ask you this, Trey, really quickly? Obviously, here domestically, there is an inertia toward finding some sort of a solution to this. I'm curious what your experience has been in Israel. Do you get the same sense that they want hostilities to end, or is your sense that the government there in particular wants to keep this going as long as it takes to squelch this regime completely?
I've been talking with Israeli officials who indicate that Israel wants a deal, but they want the right deal. They want a deal that would ultimately ensure that Iran cannot threaten their country with a nuclear bomb. But also you have other issues on the table that are concerning to Israel. And this is something that Israeli officials are watching very closely. It's not just the nuclear program.
Israel wants a deal in that, like, they want a deal where Iran like completely gives up all of their missiles, completely gives up all of their drones, completely gives up all of their enriched uranium, where the supreme leader Ayatollah gets down on both knees and personally says sorry to Benjamin Netanyahu while Benjamin Netanyahu punches him in the face, right? Like that is the deal that Israel wants, aka something that is never gonna fucking happen. Like when they say Israel wants like a deal, they mean Israel wants they want a fantasy world that will never occur. Like they are, and that's what it's like, a poison pill strategy where they want to tell Trump that their demands are so absurdly like impossible to accomplish that it inevitably leads America into getting back involved in a hot war again. That's what they want.
Israelis are concerned about. They're also concerned about Iran's expanding ballistic missile program that we saw on display earlier this year during Operation Epic Fury, soaring through the skies of this country and killing nearly 24 people. Also,
Can't do
Iran's
anything
support of
about
regional
it.
proxies like Hamas, the Houthis in Yemen, and also Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. And so,
What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it, bitch? You can't do shit about it. America couldn't do shit about it. We just saw America fail spectacularly at trying to do fucking anything about Iran's missiles and drones, and failed spectacularly. And like they in no way were able to inhibit Iran from continuing to fund and prop up Hamas, Hezbollah, or the Houthis. Like, okay, well then clearly there's nothing that can be done then.
so this is a multifaceted issue for the Israelis, and while they are hopeful about the possibility of a negotiated settlement that would ensure their country is not going to come under future attack from Iran, they're also prepared for the possibility that this negotiation doesn't happen. We should also note, reports indicate over the weekend that the Qatari Prime Minister was in Miami, meeting with Secretary of State Rubio and Special Envoy Witkoff to try and determine if there are other things that can be done to push this agreement across the finish line. But again, if that doesn't happen, we are looking at a scenario where likely there will be more military activity across the region.
Yeah, well, that, of course, Trey, is the complication of going into a war like this with a partner, because just naturally you're going to have different goals. President Trump, of course, wants to do, as you said, make sure that they don't have a nuclear weapon, but he also has domestic issues he needs to take care of ahead of the midterm election, which is clearly very important. And then you have Israel, who has much longer term goals, and some people have some sources I've had have said that they have killed more Iranian leaders than probably we should have, in terms of leaving hardliners in place and having killed some.
Are you kidding me? That's Israel's goal every fucking time. What are you talking about? That's the exact same strategy that they had in with Hamas and with any, like with Hezbollah. Like they want hardliners in charge, because then they don't have any then there is no like quote unquote reasonable actor to negotiate with, because their goal is to be in a perpetual state of war, constantly expanding their borders in all directions. They did the exact same thing with Hamas. Like they any like non-hardline factions, they either arrest or imprison, like Mustafa, whatever his name is. I forgot his name. What's his name? Mustafa Abu Sharir, is that his name? Or wait, no, that's a different one. 1 second. Palestinian. What's his name? Nelson Mandela. I forget his name. Marwan Barghouti. Sorry, I'm terrible with names. So Marwan Barghouti, but he was the one who was, I think, originally, he was going to be like the leader, sort of like the leader figure of the Palestinian movement. And they put him in prison so that they didn't have anybody who would be seen as reasonable. Like he was considered the Palestinian Nelson Mandela, right? And so they put him in prison so that they wouldn't have anybody reasonable to negotiate with. So they do this sort of stuff all the time, where they intentionally kill or imprison the like more quote unquote reasonable factions, and then leave only the hardliners, just because it helps their goal of perpetuating like their narrative that they don't have any reasonable partner to negotiate, and therefore they have to be in a constant state of war 24/7 all the time.
Moderates, which makes it more difficult to negotiate. So there's that complication. I want to talk about another complication, which is China. So we have this trip coming up with China, and the president wants to be as strong as possible going into this visit. Here is Secretary Rubio talking about China's relationship with Iran. Watch.
I'm not here to speak on behalf of what's in the best interest of China, but it's obvious. China is an export-driven economy. That means they depend on other countries to buy from them. Well, you can't buy from them if you can't ship it there, and you can't buy from them if your economy is being destroyed by what Iran is doing. So it is in China's interest that Iran stop closing the straits. It's harming China as well.
So where is China on this? They're clearly an ally with Iran, but they're getting hurt by this as well because of the oil.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, when we look at the Chinese, it's a very important week for President Trump. He's headed to Beijing for that state visit later this week. And when we look at the numbers, this is very important. The Chinese import more than 1 million barrels of Iranian crude oil each and every day. They account for around 80 to even upwards of 90% of their crude oil imports coming from Iran. And so this is certainly going to be a topic of conversation for President Trump.
Wait, what do you say?
To even upwards of 90% of their crude oil imports coming from Iran. And
Not and what? they 90% of Iran's oil, I think, goes to China, generally speaking. But I think the amount coming from the Strait of Hormuz to China is about 10 to 20%, of Chinese energy. So, I think that that's a little bit silly. Look, it's a mixed situation for China. It is. China wants stability because they love trading. That's their main thing. They trade everywhere all the time with whoever they possibly can. And so in that regard, they want stability. But to some extent, they may try to influence Iran to accept something that Iran doesn't feel like it needs to accept. When it comes to a deal with America. However, I think it's hard to say that like China doesn't see that America is the biggest cause of instability in the region, right? America is. And so I think to some extent, China is going to understand that America needs to be humiliated to some extent by Iran. And so I think they will probably try to, whatever deal that they make Iran accept, or not make, but whatever deal they try to, as an ally of Iran, try to convince them to accept. I think that they will at least recognize the necessity of Iran's goals that they are requesting, and to some regard, not force Iran into a weaker position or something with their bargaining. So I don't know. I think that's the way that I see China's position. I do think they want an end to this, but any end to this that is at the expense of Iran, that gives America too much of a win, is going to inevitably lead to more conflict in the future.
So this is certainly going to be a topic of conversation for President Trump when he meets with Xi Jinping, but also for Europeans. And the president has been very clear. It's not just the Chinese. It is countries around the world that rely on the Strait of Hormuz to use not only Iranian oil, but also many of the exports that go through this critical waterway, around 20% of the world's global energy supply. And the United States doesn't rely as heavily on the strait to have this crude oil. And they have other places, Texas, Louisiana, and the ability to use domestic crude oil production. And so it raises real questions about if European counterparts are going to look at this visit and what comes out of these conversations between President Trump and his Chinese counterpart about getting more involved in ensuring that this critical waterway is secure. Because President Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio have been very clear. The United States isn't going to indefinitely be the body that is basically providing security for this water.
And it hasn't even done that. America hasn't even been able to provide security for this waterway to get ships going through it. What the fuck is Europe going to do? I mean, seriously.
Waterway, and despite the fact that we saw those U.S. strikes late last week, the United States is going to look to other countries around the world who use the Strait of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf to more directly get...
Okay, yeah. I've heard this a billion times. I don't care anymore. I'm moving on. I think I might skip the Victory Day thing. Russia had their Victory Day thing. I don't think it's that important, so honestly, I'm just going to skip it because I want to get to some fun stuff today. And this will be kind of a kickoff into, I guess, the fun stuff. I guess it's maybe not that fun, but we'll see. This is from Fox News again. So this is Jimmy Fela salutes all the kick-ass moms. Now this one caught my eye, right? So today's Mother's Day, people. So happy Mother's Day. If you're a mother, you know, congratulations. I applaud you. You know, mothers are important. And as someone who is a feminist, I say that I love moms. I love women. I want them all to succeed and have the best lives that they possibly can. So this one caught my eye when I saw Fox News saying they had someone out there who is saluting all the kick-ass moms, because that's some woke shit that they're saying right there. This is some woke ass liberal bullshit. There, kick-ass moms, what are you talking about? I thought only woke people were pro women like that. I thought only woke people you know, we're allowed to go out there and support moms and motherhood. I thought that these people weren't allowed to do that, or maybe they're just turning woke. Who knows? So let's go ahead and watch this video. I don't know if this is a comedy sketch or what. I don't know what show this was on the Fox News lineup. So let's go ahead and watch it. Let's see what's going on here.
Thank you so much for coming out to spend Mother's Day weekend in Times Square. What a bunch of sick you people are. Oh, God. No, I totally understand. It's like, why take mom to get brunch in a restaurant when you can take her to get groped by a guy in an Elmo costume, you know? On the plus side, if you are a mom who loves flowers, there's weed everywhere, so you're good there. But puff, puff, pass. Welcome to Fox News Saturday night. Here we go.
Okay. First and foremost, so this does seem like a comedy sketch, if I had to guess. He's going a little too fast. He's not giving any of these jokes any room to breathe. I mean, you know, sorry. I talked about it a little bit at the beginning. I think I might have small amounts of autism in my blood, and so I'm watching his how he's doing this, and I'm analyzing his comedy and being like, this was wrong, this is wrong. You need to do this. You need to pause longer here. But maybe he just realized that his jokes weren't really landing, or maybe honestly he's giving the vibe that he was expecting his jokes to not land very well, so he's just like, you know, speeding through it, or maybe he's just nervous. I'm sure that if I went out there and I did a stand-up routine, I would be speeding through my jokes as well, because I would be very nervous.
Here we go. I do want to start the show by saluting all the kick-ass moms watching across the country. Whoa. Because if you don't have a good mom, you grow up to do a lot of weird stuff. And if you don't believe me, ask this lady.
What? Is she naked? What's going on here? That's not a real person, right? That's like, yeah, that's not a real person. I think that's a mannequin.
Now, like you, my first reaction was, yeah, it's good to see that Kamala finally got a job, okay?
Yikes, dude.
Stop it, Jimmy. That's not actually Kamala. I don't actually know that woman's name, but her face sure rings a bell. Good night, everybody! Good night!
Ugh, oh God, dude, this is bad. Am I wrong? This is terrible. Like, usually, dude, okay, look, I'm not like one of these, you know, I'm not one of the wokes who, you know, gets upset about like the jokes, like a joke like being offensive or something in and of itself. I think that you can make, you can, you know, tackle, like I guess I'm trying to explain that I'm not like I'm not someone who's offended very easily or whatever, right? I think that you can make good jokes about you know, in like complicated subject matter or whatever, right? However, this is just purely unfunny. Everything that he's doing, this isn't me getting triggered or anything. It's not even offensive in any way. As far as I can tell, and he is just being so ungodly unfunny right now. And he's about to do that thing that I hate when people do, especially late night people, when they go up to the camera and they're like, ooh, 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 like they like look at the camera like I don't know, and like are just like, please laugh, please clap. Like, I don't like it. Okay, you didn't get that close. Good.
Oh my God. That video was shot over in Venice, Italy. It's a topless protester who is trying to raise money for climate change. Hundreds
it was
of guys
a real
actually
person.
did donate, but they don't know how much he got because they paid in singles. You know what I mean? The hoodies. But what jumped out at me is that in Venice, they call that woman an artist. But back here in America, we call that woman a mental patient. You know what I mean? Although seeing as we're in a politically correct place like New York City, you can't actually say mental patient. You have to say AOC.
Dude, it's just not funny. What is going on? This is bad, man. Also, I hate when people do shock humor, or like I feel like some people in absence of an actual joke, they do like they say something offensive or whatever, or something that they perceive as being offensive, and that is like the joke in and of itself, is that it was an offensive thing to say. I think about all of the Rogan-sphere people who, you know, will use like the R word, or use the like, I don't know, use a slur like the F slur for gay people or something, right? And they'll be like, oh, this is the joke in and of itself, me using the word as the joke, as opposed to like, if you want to incorporate those words into a real joke, that's fine. but like, he's giving that vibe, but at the same time that he's doing that, he's not actually saying anything that could even be perceived as offensive. Like, it's just like, I don't know, it's stupid. Okay, you think AOC is crazy? Wow. So I'm so offended right now. Okay.
AOC did a podcast this week. It's kind of gone viral for all the wrong reasons. And I almost feel bad because the truth is AOC didn't want to do the podcast. She was going to go on 60 Minutes, but she didn't know how long the show was. And it's like, I don't know. But here's AOC. Stop it. Don't reward that. Here is AOC attempting to bash the rich by claiming that nobody can legally earn $1 billion. Just watch this.
You can't earn $1 billion.
That's right.
You just can't earn that.
That's exactly correct.
You can get market power, you can break rules, you can do all sorts of things. You can abuse labor laws, you can pay people less than what they're worth. But you can't earn that, right?
And I don't think anyone summed up this conversation better than this man right here.
Life is hard, but it's harder when you're stupid.
Dude. I mean, I'm just saying, if you're going to make that joke, you can't sound like some like inbred Southerner. Like, you gotta. I mean, no offense. I know plenty of like smart Southern people like who have an accent like that or whatever. This guy is clearly not one of them. But if you are going to make that joke, you gotta, if you are going to say that, like, it really helps not to have a voice that sounds like this. Let's listen to it again.
But it's harder when you're stupid.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yo.
Guys, this is rough. I'm having a really rough time here. This is so bad. I didn't know that this was actually going to be a comedy sketch. I wasn't quite sure when I picked the video what it was going to be. I'm so glad that I've never gone to one of these like anti-woke comedian people, because I'm guessing that this is exactly what it feels like to be in like in a crowd at an anti-woke comedian person who's like thinks he's being offensive but is really just like not telling jokes and just like being boring. Like, I don't know.
AOC says that all billionaires are criminals who got there by breaking the law. Like, can you imagine if this moonbat becomes president? You turn on an episode of Cops and they're chasing Oprah, you know? You're under arrest for being a billionaire.
Well, they wouldn't chase her. They would just seize all of her wealth, over $1 billion. Like, that's what I would do if I were president. If I was Grand Ayatollah of America, I would just immediately seize all of the wealth of like every billionaire over $1 billion. I would take it all and I would just give a one-time refund to the people, like to every person. I would redistribute it instantaneously. That's what I would do.
You know, it'd actually be funny to watch cops if AOC was president, because that would mean the country was so woke. The theme song was now bad thems, what you gonna do?
Oh my God.
And then she'd defund
Jesus
the police.
Christ, get a new joke. They're so obsessed, man. They're so obsessed with pronouns. Please, dear God, we have moved past this. It is no longer 16 or whenever the anti-trans jokes hit their peak. Please get new material. Jesus Christ.
Bad thems, what you gonna do? And then she'd defund the police and the show'd go off the air. That's a true story. Back in 2020, AOC was the one leading the nationwide push to defund the police. And the only reason it didn't happen is Joe Biden thought the police were a British rock band. You know, it's like, why are you guys so mad at Sting? I don't get it. What's going on? But AOC is getting smoked because she says all billionaires are criminals. But hello, Michael Jordan is a billionaire. So is Beyonce, Jay-Z, Tyler Perry, Dr. Dre.
Take all of their wealth. Who gives a shit? What are you fucking talking about? You act like we care, like if they're liberals or conservatives. No, we don't give a shit. I want all of Bill Gates' wealth gone just as much as I want all of Bezos' wealth gone or Elon Musk's wealth gone. Like, and I say, like, I would just give a one-time payment to the people. I've talked about this before. It would be better to take every dollar that a person had over $1 billion, just seize it all and light it all on fucking fire than allow them to have it, because them having that much wealth and power is inherently terrible for democracy. It is inherently bad for the system of government that we have, because it gives too much power and too much speech and too much lobbying efforts, too lobbying power or whatever. It just it distorts and corrupts our system irrevocably. And so that's why I would do it. I would seize it all. And if you're not going to let me give it to the people or fund social services or give people free healthcare or give people, free college, then I will just take all of that money and burn it. That's what I would do. And I will, if you're not going to let me do something better with it, that's what, if I was Grand Ayatollah of America, that's what I would do.
So is Beyonce, Jay-Z, Tyler Perry, Dr. Dre. Again, are you telling me this billionaire would ever break the law? Okay. All right. Okay. So that's a bad example by me. Okay.
Be sure to like.
Yikes, dude. Okay. My God. That was bad. That was really bad. I'm so sorry, people. I'm so sorry that I subjected you to an anti-woke comedian on accident. My apologies. I hope you can forgive me. I hope that I at least made it a little bit easier by you could live vicariously through me groaning at every terrible joke that loser fucking played, or that loser said. Jimmy Fila, Jimmy file a lawsuit. That was so bad. Sorry, I tried. Okay. I'm not the comedian here, okay, people. I'm just a stupid ass fucking YouTuber. What I'm not supposed to be funny. Okay, there's that. That was so bad. That's okay. God, I gotta move on. Let's see. We're at 1 hour and 30. Let's go ahead and let's go to this one. I got to talk about this. I wanted to talk about this 2 days ago when this first popped up, but I've just been so preoccupied with doing real news that it just kind of fell off the radar. This is going to be a fun one, I think. This is about Akaash Singh. So whoever is unaware, this is Rogan-sphere, drama slop bullshit. This is a Rogan-sphere drama slop bullshit time, and it's usually pretty fun. I won't lie. I like to engage in the slop every once in a while. So for those unaware, Akaash Singh had so he has a wife. I think they're still married. Long story short, apparently she had told him she was a virgin or something, I think, when they met. He's one of these manosphere types, right? He cares a lot about that or something, I think, or at least manosphere adjacent. And so then he had a podcast, and then I guess there was his wife went on some podcast and they were talking to her about her college experience or something. And I think she implied that she had, you know, had sex in college or something along those lines. And I think that this, like, normally this would be a nothing story, right? Because most people have had sex in college, right? Like most, this one, I guess, really, I think because of how Akaash reacted and stuff, really got people like memeing on Akaash, like for like being as naive as he was to maybe believe her or something. I believe that she was a virgin. I don't know, honestly. It's been a while since I remember this originally happening. But so I guess like his wife has kind of been humiliating him to some extent. And he's being, you know, he's kind of like getting almost like a humiliation fetish. Like maybe he has a humiliation fetish or something, because he's getting humiliated left and right. So anyway, this one is called Akaash Singh quits his own podcast because his wife won't stop humiliating him. Let's go.
As I'm sure
this is by my boy Too Lazy to Try. So we're gonna have, you know, we're gonna have like what's it called, like corner guyception, where we have his corner guy and then my corner guy on the screen. So there you go, people. But this is from Too Lazy to Try.
You guys aware, our boy Akaash, he really went through it earlier this year, showed amazing resilience and, you know, selling out Radio City recently, setting records in Toronto, just crushing stand-up. So it's been amazing to see. But the experience has put things in perspective for him. And he's made the decision to focus all of his energy on stand-up. He is going to be stepping away from the pod. It is bittersweet. You know, we wish that he did not want to do that. But at the same time, you know, it's very hard not to root for your friend, you know, literally living his dreams. And if he feels he's got to give everything to that, then that's exactly what he's got to do. And we're going to rock with him. We hope you guys continue to rock with him. So we just wanted to, you know, clear the air. Akaash hasn't been on the pod for a while. And we thought it was time that we, you know, talk to you guys about it.
All right, so it looks like Akaash Singh is actually leaving Flagrant after his wife started publicly humiliating him around 5 months ago. And it never seems to end. Like, she just won't stop ruining this man's life. Because obviously her and all the controversy she put him through is the reason why.
He looks like he's got such a derpy face, dude. I swear.
He's deciding to quit Flagrant, which doesn't seem like a great career move. You know, this podcast is a
maybe that was just a bad picture, though. I don't know. I got a little bit of a derpy face too.
Reason why he's so successful, and it's a good way for him to promote his shows, and it's an easy paycheck. You know, he just has to bullshit around on a podcast a few hours a week. But the humiliation ritual his wife put him through made him rethink everything, except his relationship. But he decided to quit his own podcast that he's been doing for almost a decade without even announcing it himself or doing one final episode. You know, he couldn't even do a goodbye episode with them. He just didn't go on there for months, and then they had to announce that he quit. So it's a weird way to end it, but they claim Akaash just wants to focus on his stand-up now. That's how they're spinning this. But everybody knows it's because of the controversy with his wife, and she calls the shots. So I wouldn't be surprised if she pressured him to quit, because she really hates the Flagrant fan base. She thinks they're racist and sexist. So now his wife...
Hey, hell yeah, woke queen. Keep humiliating him. maybe she's like a woke like a woke secret agent, man. Maybe like maybe Antifa has a cell of woke girls who like just lie their way into a relationship with like a manosphere person and then just slowly ruin their lives. I don't know. If that doesn't exist, that could be a good idea. When I go to my next Antifa, my next Antifa meeting, my local Antifa meeting, I'm going to bring that up as a possibility.
Is insulting his fan base because I think she wants Akaash to purge the Flagrant fans, which sounds like a smart career move.
I know the periphery of Akaash's fan base, which is, I will say, more of the podcast fan base. And I know a lot of people during like our controversy were saying like, oh, it's because of his fans. It's because of his fans. Like his comedy fans are not like that. It's more the podcast fan base that I don't think really resonate with him, because a lot of them are like really racist and right wing. I think like those of them are more like that.
Well, queen.
But yeah, anyways, I said like those peripheral fans, like they might come at us just because we're brown girls being opinionated and they don't like opinionated women.
Also, she's still doing podcasts and trying to be an influencer, and you can tell she hasn't learned anything from the backlash. It's crazy. She causes all this shit by embarrassing him and disrespecting him constantly on social media, and it's negatively affecting his career. But I guess their solution to all the drama is for Akaash to step away from the spotlight and for Jesleen to double down on her influencer career. So she's dragging him down to pull herself up, and he's just asking for it. It's hard to feel.
Like I said, who knows, man? Maybe she's an infiltrator. I don't know. I'm starting to like this idea. I think that this might be the case.
Sympathy for him. This is just the most pathetic shit ever. Like, because of all the controversy, he's done with the podcast, and he says he doesn't really want to be a famous influencer podcaster anymore. He just wants to be a comedian because he doesn't really like what comes with fame and how people talk about his personal life. Yet his wife is still desperately trying to become famous by talking about their personal life and piggybacking off his success.
But I think it was God's way of telling me, you always say you want like a happy, healthy family. You need to know what comes with this fame thing and decide if you really want it. And I realized I don't really want that. I want to be the best stand-up comedian I can be, hopefully ever. Yeah. All that other shit, I don't care. If we go to the...
Yeah, I mean, fame is hard, dude. I mean, I won't lie. I mean, what do I know, right? But like, I think there is a lot of like, you know, you no matter what, you get a lot of hate the more prominent you become, I think. So to some extent I can like empathize with that.
Met Gala, she probably made me. I don't give a about walking on this stupid red carpet. You're picked, like, I don't care about any of that.
Yeah.
Now I just want the happy, healthy family.
And if it weren't for all the drama, obviously he wouldn't be saying this, so he wouldn't have left Flagrant. And if he wants privacy, then maybe his wife shouldn't be posting so much on social media. But of course, that will never happen, even though obviously Akaash would prefer it. But she doesn't seem to give a shit what he thinks, and she's going to continue.
Okay. So there's interesting, like this take is interesting to me. If she wants fame, that's perfectly fine. If she wants to pursue like you know, Instagram stardom or whatever she wants to do, that's perfectly fine. I do think that Akaash has a say in like whether he wants to be a part of that fame or whether he wants his family to be a part of that fame. I think if he doesn't want to be involved in any way, then that's perfectly fine. Same with like if it was like inverted or whatever, and he wanted fame and she wanted to stay out of the limelight, that's perfectly fine. Don't bring her up, don't bring her into things, and you can continue to pursue fame yourself or whatever. This sort of stuff, no offense, Mr. Too Lazy to Try, but there is, I think, a little bit of a sort of misogynistic slant to how this is being covered, because it's being portrayed as like this woman is disrespecting her man by choosing to continue to seek fame while her man does not want that or whatever. It's like, no, she's perfectly allowed to. If he doesn't want to be involved in it, then he can just stay out, and she can, you know, I mean, obviously he should probably have conversations with her, like, please don't bring me up. Please don't bring up our family. Like I keep that stuff separate. You can talk about yourself. You can talk about things you did. You can maybe bring me up in passing or whatever. But like, I think that they should have conversations like that or whatever. But I'm just saying there is a little bit, I think, of a hint of like a misogynistic undertone to this sort of perspective.
I need to do whatever she wants. I mean, Akaash is cooked. This guy is totally brainwashed. And he's rationalized everything she did, like all the time she disrespected him. And he just repeats the excuses she gave him, like how she's just doing what a comedian does and she's just joking around and he shouldn't take it seriously. Even if he has a problem with it, like, he needs to get over himself. So she's got this man by the balls. And he went on this radio show recently that barely has any views, and most of the comments are just mocking that whole situation. But this host was gaslighting him just like his wife. She's like, I can't believe people are giving your wife a hard time for just standing up for you. Like, that's the criticism. I mean, it's the exact opposite of that. People are giving her...
I'm gonna be honest. I'd have to go back and watch the actual, you know, the original controversy and stuff. I kind of forgot exactly what happened. The main thing I remember is that she like talked about potentially having sex when she was like before she met Akaash, and then I think that like, you know, made a lot of his fan base, like who are manosphere adjacent types, freak the fuck out. Like, I think that was the general vibe that I got, which is why also, like, Akaash is, as far as I know, he is like kind of associated with that manosphere right wing sort of mentality. So I don't necessarily have a lot of sympathy for him in this particular circumstance, but I also think that like a lot of this is kind of like a nothing burger that just escalated, I don't know. Like, it's like, I don't see her as disrespecting him in any meaningful way. As far as I know, I don't know everything that she said, but as far as I know, I don't see her as really disrespecting him. I see like his fans just getting like freaking out, like having a sort of like a manosphere brained freak out to some of the stuff that has been happening, like due to like their perceptions about women or whatever, is kind of the way that I see it. But I don't know, man. I haven't seen all of the various like things that she said, so I don't know if she has actually been disrespectful or not.
Up for you. Like, that's the criticism. I mean, it's the exact opposite of that. People are giving her shit because she's been totally disrespecting him, and she was hitting on another guy in front of him. She kept trying to have an orgy with him. She was talking about his dick. It was so uncomfortable. But now
okay, maybe well, that would be disrespectful, I think, unless you're really into that. If your particular fetish is that you like to be humiliated on camera, like you like to be cucked, like literally on camera on YouTube for the entire internet to see. If this is not something that he consented to, I would consider that to be disrespectful.
Akaash has convinced himself it's no big deal, it's just jokes, he shouldn't take it seriously, even though you could tell he definitely had a problem with it when they did that flagrant episode with his wife. But he's so far gone.
That's one of those things that, like, if she is joking or whatever, and you can take it, if you can take it as a man or whatever, like if you're not if that doesn't bother you at all, that's perfectly fine. If it does bother you, then yes, you should have a conversation with her and then be like, please don't do that. That makes me feel really uncomfortable. And then she shouldn't do it anymore. Otherwise it is disrespectful for her to do that if she doesn't if she doesn't take your feelings into consideration.
His wife could easily just convince him he's being insecure about it, especially now that he's done with flagrant, because I'm sure those guys are probably some of the only people.
No, it depends on the person. Some men are perfectly fine with their significant other joking around about things like that or whatever. And some men aren't. I'm not going to say it's purely based on confidence. There's lots of things that can go into that, including, their dating history, being traumatized from stuff like that in the past, whatever, right? There's lots of reasons that they can be uncomfortable with that isn't just having a lack of confidence. So I do think it is perfectly fine to ask your significant other to refrain from making jokes like that or talking like that or whatever, in front of people because it makes you uncomfortable. Like that's perfectly normal. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. And it isn't always purely because of lack of self-confidence. Don't get me wrong. A lot of time it is, but sometimes, there's actual, good reason for not wanting that. And some people just have different, mental states and boundaries and stuff in their own head and whatnot. So yeah.
People actually trying to talk a little bit of sense into him. Like, Schultz kept saying it's a bad idea for his wife to do a podcast, and I think he's probably trying to convince Akaash to tell her not to do it. But I'm sure she got pissed and said Schultz was just being sexist or something. And that's probably one of the reasons why Akaash is leaving. And now he'll probably just be around people who gaslight him, like this radio show host who sees nothing wrong with how his wife treats him.
For people who are listening, they might know, but it's like a different audience. Like, I didn't realize in the space that you function in a podcast world, because you guys are very, very famous. I didn't realize people were giving your wife a hard time for standing up for you.
Like, when you get on the subway and there's like a homeless person sleeping and like everyone has to get out of that car.
Yeah.
That's what my husband's balls smell like. Nav completely measures up to him, if not more. You haven't seen Nav.
Yeah. All of this stuff is stuff that she probably shouldn't say without, without her husband's like her significant other being like for instance, I never talk about my wife in any way, shape, or form on this podcast except for what we did or where we went. I would never talk about personal things related to us or whatever on on a podcast or in public, because I would, she hasn't consented to that. So I wouldn't, so in that regard, I do see that as a little bit disrespectful if she, didn't have the okay from her husband to talk about, to talk about this sort of stuff on air.
Have yet, but wait till you fucking see him. His body goes crazy. His face card always slays, never declines. Just know that Nav's dick is like at least 10 inches.
You would only be down for an orgy if
or it's thick. It's thick.
I didn't realize like people were giving your wife a hard time for standing up for you or having an opinion.
No, she said shit that if I said it, everybody would say it was a joke. And she and I have because we've only had sex with each other, she and I have a relationship where it's like, I don't give a what you say. She can give a what I say.
So he doesn't care that his wife is trying to jumpstart her career by humiliating him and ruining his career. And now he's like, my wife is so strong for the way she handled that controversy. I was going through it, but she was resilient. And it's like, yeah, of course she was, because she probably loved the attention. And what does she really have to lose? I mean, Akaash is the one it really affected. But he's so delusional. He came out of this controversy thinking, I can't believe how courageous my wife is for disrespecting me, and then doubling down.
First week this was happening, she goes, you know what, baby? God knows what's true. We know what's true.
That's right.
What else matters? Who cares what anybody thinks? And I was like, I care. What are you talking about? Were you crazy? But she just kind of kept that energy. She was like, whatever y'all think about me is whatever y'all think about me. I know who I am. God knows who I am. That's it. And then I had to realize, like, she's the one that's actually strong and courageous. And the rest of us are like running and hiding and going dark and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, I know who I am. Go f yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
were you surprised that some people were telling you that she shouldn't be on social media? Like she shouldn't have a voice?
No, I think the thing I guess
or what was surprised?
And Andrew Schultz and Charlemagne were saying his wife shouldn't be on social media when all the controversy went down. They're like, you got to keep your wife off the internet.
See, that stuff is where I'm like, no. If she wants to be on the internet, she's perfectly allowed to be on the internet. Like, you shouldn't control your, if she wants to pursue Instagram fame or whatever, or like YouTube fame or whatever, I think that's perfectly valid and fine. It's just like you're not her dad. Like she is an autonomous person who is able to make those decisions. But you should set some like ground rules or whatever with her if she's not able to intuit the normal ground rules that most people have, like me, for instance. Not like when I say I don't talk about my wife in like a personal way or whatever on here, like, yeah, those should be obvious, but if she doesn't know them, you should have a conversation with her about it.
It's your career, you're making the money. You don't want her affecting that. She could find another hobby. She doesn't need to be an influencer. And he said they're trying to get her to delete the podcast, which I'm sure she didn't handle well, and probably convinced Akaash they're just being sexist and they're a bad influence on him. Because
also, I mean, I'm sorry, but this, like, I do kind of think that he's batting a little out of his league here to some extent. No offense to him. I don't, but I don't necessarily think he's the most attractive guy, and she is a very beautiful woman. So I think that there's probably an inherent level of insecurity, I think, within him that might come from that. But yeah, so that probably doesn't help anything here.
Because I'm sure he also probably didn't really want her doing the podcast or trying to be an influencer, especially the way she's going about it by disrespecting him for attention. But she obviously won that battle. She's going to do whatever she wants, whether Akaash likes it or not.
Keep your wife off the motherfucking internet. Why does your wife have a microphone in her face? Do not allow your wife to start a motherfucking podcast, bro. Yes. Okay? There can be one entertainer in this family, and it shall be me. I'm the comedian. I'm out here on this road, and I'm out here getting the money. Let me use some of this money to help you do some other things, yo. But
I think they're just kind of being funny here. I'm not a big fan of Charlemagne, by the way. He's a kind of annoying person to me. He's one of these I think he's a progressive, but I think he dabbles in reactionaryism a little too much for my taste.
You don't need a microphone in your face because you're going to fuck around and ruin us. All right? Not just you, us.
But go watch the episode.
Yeah.
We discuss everything on the pod.
Did she about sucking
No.
She never said that? There was never a video about that?
She said that Akaash's balls smell like a homeless person.
Damn. Not Steph Curry with the shot boy.
They call her chicken curry.
God damn.
I don't know about that one.
That's a good point. So we had those conversations.
What the?
Go watch the episode.
My brothers.
Clears up a lot of shit.
My brothers.
And also, she just acknowledges, like, yo, that was stupid. Like, I shouldn't be fucking sharing that. I can see why the audience thought it was this thing. Like, there was a lot of
delete
good stuff.
Delete the podcast.
Delete ours?
No more influencing. No, I'm talking about her.
Oh, we're working on it.
No influencing. I don't want you don't let your wife be influencers. Don't let your wife be podcasters, man.
So I'm sure his wife wasn't too happy about that. And obviously, I'd imagine she had something to do with him leaving the podcast. Like, she probably pressured him, which, if that's true, it's just hilariously sad. You know, he couldn't get her to stop being an influencer podcaster.
He could have just been embarrassed or whatever, just in general. Or maybe he's just telling the truth. Who knows?
You know, she probably told him he's too controlling. But then I bet she convinced him to stop doing his podcast because she doesn't like his co-host and fan base, even though he's the one with the really successful career. So this man is just so pathetic. I mean, this guy just quit the podcast that brought him all the success he has, and he acts like he doesn't want to be in the spotlight because he doesn't like the attention on his personal life. Yet his wife is still trying to become famous by talking about their personal life. So it makes no sense, and it's going to continue to be a complete train wreck. So make sure you subscribe and check out my Patreon account if you want to hear about how Candace Owens is crashing out. She's in this insanely trashy beef with Laura Loomer, and they're just trying to destroy each other's lives. It's out of control.
Is Too Lazy to try encroaching on my territory, people? Is he encroaching on politics territory? I might have to I might have to have a little internet drama slot beef myself if he keeps this up. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so this is an interesting one. So there's multiple things going on with this. Like I said throughout the video, there's a little bit of a misogynistic undertone to a lot of this stuff with the targeting of his wife. But I'm not saying his wife is completely innocent here. His wife is definitely doing things that she should know better not to do, right? Talking about their personal life, and doing things like humiliating her husband, talking about like, if he's not comfortable with it, talking about other dudes and like wanting to have sex with them or whatever, right? Like, I do think that stuff, if he's not comfortable with it, that's something that they should talk about. And he like, those should be off limits for whenever she's doing her podcast or whatever. So, anyway, that's why I'm saying this isn't like a just black and white thing, but it is fun to watch. This is the drama slop portion of the pod or of this YouTube show that I'm doing. So, I hope you all enjoyed it. Okay, let's see here. We did drama slop. I might just head over to x.com now and see what we got over there. I don't really think there were any articles I really wanted to read. I didn't really find anything while I was watching that video. Yeah, I'm not really seeing a whole lot. Okay, yeah, let's just go over to x.com. We'll see what we can find. This might be depending on how long I stay here, maybe it'll be just as long. I don't know. I sometimes think that I'm not going to stay on X that long. Like usually I try to plan this portion to be like maybe like 20 minutes or so, 20, 25 minutes of just finding stuff. But who knows? Let's see here. Let's go and watch this one because it's right here on my the top before I go back to the very beginning. This is from Fox News. Mrs. Erica Kirk encourages young Americans to get married and raise families during her commencement address at Hillsdale College. To the men, you are called to provide. You are called to lead, to anchor your families in strength and consistency. To the women, you are called to nurture, to build, to shape lives with wisdom and endurance. Yeah, well, how'd that work out for you? I'm so sorry. That was a bad one. That was mean. I'm a mean person sometimes.
Charlie would often encourage people, like Dr. Arnn said, to get married young, not rushed, but young. But I just want to encourage.
I somewhat disagree with that, by the way. I believe, I don't believe that there isn't a possibility of finding a happy, long-lasting relationship with someone while you're young, but you change a lot as you grow up. Okay. And it's possible, like I think that you really settle into your personality, in my opinion, around like 25, maybe. You're still constantly changing, but your personality, I think, really sort of settles down, I'd say around like 24, 25. And I'd recommend around then being like the earliest that you should probably get married. If you do get married before that, there is a chance that you and your partner's personalities are going to change very significantly, like through that time period until you hit 24, 25. And that's not to say that your personality doesn't keep changing and you don't keep growing after that. I just think it's a lot slower. And there's a lot more like, you can back and forth with your partner. You can kind of grow together a lot more easily if you're not, shifting, if your personality isn't changing and shifting very, very quickly.
I just want to encourage all of you, to the men, you are called to provide. You are called to lead, to anchor your families in strength and consistency. To the women, you are called to nurture, to build, to shape lives with wisdom and endurance.
Okay. Erica, girl, your kids need nurturing. Go back and nurture your kids, please, dear God. They need it. They need it. Okay, let's go back to the top. Let's see what we got. Dua Lipa. That's just book stuff. What's this?
Technology.
Malat Kuros for Congress, Colorado first. So she's I don't know anything about this person. She has a DSA Denver on there, so I'm assuming she might be a member of DSA, which inherently makes her pretty trustworthy in my book. Okay. Sam Altman, Peter Thiel, and all of those other jackasses, I don't trust them, says Malat Kuros, explaining her hesitancy with the AI technology bubble and how she feels that it is being used to replace human labor. Let's go ahead and watch this.
Like, it's literally, as we speak, finding proteins to create cures to diseases that we literally would not be able to do without our own computational ability. That being said, it's a tool, but it's a tool that can be used just like any other tool for good or for evil. And Sam Altman and Peter Thiel and all of these other jackasses, to be fair, I don't trust them. I don't trust their motivations.
And what she's saying there is that every technology is value neutral inherently. It can be good. It can be used for good. It can be used for evil. I think that a lot of people wouldn't have any problems with AI, me included, if it didn't exist under our current capitalist system. Capitalism means that every new technology is used explicitly to displace the labor force. Under a socialist system, or like say a co-op owned structure of your company, instead of the bosses and the capital owners who own the company making the decision to fire half your workforce and make everybody else work twice as hard by throwing a tool like AI at them and saying, here, you now have twice the workload. You now must be twice as productive. Use this to get it done. And a lot of times so far, that productivity isn't really there. So it's just these people just working twice as hard. But like under a socialist system, it would be, okay, there's this new technology called AI. We think that it will improve our productivity by 20%, right? So, okay, what do we want to do with that 20%, extra revenue that we can make, or like 20% less work that we need necessarily? We could lay people off. I mean, it is a company. You can make that decision if you want. Or we could say have people move to a 4-day work week. Everybody works 20% less per week, and we still make the same productive outputs. You could say, oh, let's just work 20% harder. We make 20% more revenue. And we use that to fund an expansion into this facility in the next town over. And then what you would do is you would lay out all those proposals, and then you would have a vote on it in your company to decide what you want to do. and that way, that's what we mean when we say democratize the workplace under a co-op style model of your corporation or a socialist organization of the economy. You can have a lot more decision making process on how you want to use this new technology that comes in that isn't inherently being used to displace labor and put people out on the streets or whatever. So anyway, that's kind of like that's why I think that a lot of people just have a inherent, right now at this point in time, an inherent distaste or hate for AI because of what it's being used for. And obviously there's some stuff that's outside of like workplace displacement. Like there is like the propaganda aspects of it. There is the misinformation aspects of it, which is sort of disconnected from the whole labor argument to an extent. It still has, it is still somewhat related in that the propaganda and disinformation is beneficial to capital owners, and at the end of the day, because it keeps people, agitated and unable to, like, it makes it harder for people to organize against the pedo billionaires. So, but yeah, under a different system, though, AI could be just another piece of technology that we can all, use or not use, depending on what we think is beneficial for the human race. But that's not what we live under. So it will be used negatively under our current system.
I don't trust what they would want to use this technology for. And I think it does have everything to do with replacing the workforce and replacing human labor as we have it today. And I think the only solution to that is guaranteeing basic needs like housing, healthcare, nutritional food, public education, transport.
My wife's sister, when she was over yesterday, was talking about some AI doomer person that she had in her workplace who was talking about how he thought in like 5 years, 50% of the labor force would no longer exist. We wouldn't have a need for them or whatever. And like how, and I don't know, he was a weird like NFT guy too or whatever. So, and I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case, but, I think a lot of people don't quite understand how labor displacement works. Like if enough people are displaced through a piece of technology, if it becomes so severe that there's, that let's say 20, 30, 40% of the population is just like out of work, what do you think happens in that circumstance? Pretty obviously that system would be unable to sustain itself. It would quickly turn to like here, let me do this. It would quickly turn to like revolutionary fervor, right? Like people would be out on the streets and like ready to fight and die for a better world if that were the case. And that's why I don't even necessarily think that is going to be the outcome. I don't think that they're going to mass displace labor all of a sudden and put a whole bunch of people out on the street. I think they're going to displace as much labor as they feel like they possibly can without turning society too much up on its head to start like a revolutionary fervor. I think that they will also, use the technology and, their AI surveillance and all that stuff to try to, increase the amount that they are able to put down any sort of revolutionary fervor from the people, given, as they try to increase that, that labor displacement like higher and higher. And even they might even, if it is actually as subversive as they say it is, where 40-50% of the workforce will just no longer need to work, they may even offer crumbs of universal basic income to people. But it will be, the bare minimum to survive, basically. It still will not be an equitable system, but it will be a crumb that is thrown out to keep people from actually, organizing and trying to overthrow the unjust system that we have. like, and maybe, I mean, maybe that could work to some extent in tamping down, people's demands for a better system. But my end goal is that I do not want this stuff to be dictated to us by like pedo billionaires. I don't want this being dictated to us, like what we're allowed to get from the labor that we produce, like what crumbs we are allowed to take from the labor that we produce. I think that everybody should have a say in what we're allowed to, or like what we should have based on the labor that we produce. Because in the end, the pedo billionaires, the people at the top, they don't do anything. They don't contribute anything. The most you could say is that they put in the money to fund the private capital or whatever necessary to start up a bigger business or to ramp up production very quickly, as opposed to like starting small and building up through just internal revenue models or whatever, right? Like they can like really boost that production speed, or like that like how quickly you can get a company up and running. But we can find other ways to do that. Like it doesn't need to be pedo billionaires that are in charge of funding the various like companies and organizations that we want in society. We could have the government do that. Like we could have the government say a lot money to various like industries to invest in new things that we need as a country or whatever, right? It doesn't even have to be all of our industries either. We could do a Chinese model where it's like the government is just like in charge and like in complete control of certain industries, certain key industries that are necessary for our country, and we allow capital, like private capital, to take care of, like, I don't know, the soda industry. Who gives a shit if that is owned by private capital, as long as they don't attain so much money that they can like influence our politics. As long as the government in the end is able to rein in capital, I don't give a shit if that is privately run, so I don't know, this is a big long-winded ramble, but I think it's kind of like, it's important for people to try to visualize how technology be like, how society could be radically different or whatever if we just restructured it away from capitalism, at least somewhat away from capitalism. I like to try to help people, visualize what that would look like. And I hope I did an okay job there. Although I know I ramble a lot and sometimes I go off on tangents and forget where I was even starting from. So who knows?
Transportation, access to internet, all of these things should be guaranteed regardless of where you live, what family you're born into, what wealth you're born into. All of those things should be guaranteed. And that's going to be the only way we can protect working people from this new technology.
There you go. Okay, well, that was an interesting one. I think we had some good discussion. We'll see. A massive fire broke out at Plastic. Why? I mean, I'm getting a lot of Fox News. I guess I followed them just to get their unhinged stuff. But a massive fire broke out at a plastic recycling factory in Henry County, Tennessee, prompting a shelter-in-place order and a large emergency response. The cause of the fire has not yet been released, and it remains unclear whether there were any injuries or fatalities. Crews remain at the scene battling remaining flames. This was 15 hours ago. Another facility, though, like a factory or warehouse going up in flames. I'm not saying for sure that it was a disgruntled worker again, taking inspiration from that other dude, but who knows? Who's this? Boogie Ray. Politics woman that is also hot, but we keep it PG here. This is the people versus the power, not me versus you. Okay. Utah's new data center plans will dump 23 atom bombs worth of energy into the environment every single day. It will use more than double of the entire state's energy use daily. This will completely obliterate the surrounding environment, farmland, and temperature regulation. Yeah, this is fucked, dude. This is fucked. These the data center stuff. I'll watch the video, but yeah, they are. It destroys environments. It destroys towns. It destroys cities. At the very least, they're not just I should say not yet, but they aren't doing the classic the classic thing in America where they just put them in like black areas, which is usually what they do. The things that destroy the or destroy the local economy, or the things that destroy the local environment or whatever, usually they just throw those in black areas, and then white people just kind of like, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. This seems to be impacting everybody, which I think, like, data centers seem to be impacting everybody. So I think that's why it's kind of bipartisan, and the hate towards it.
Utah's new data center is going to be releasing 23 atom bombs worth of energy every single day. The new plans for the center have it releasing 16 gigawatts of energy a day. And mind you, one single gigawatt can power over 750,000 to 1 million houses.
Jesus Christ.
And yes, they will be producing
This energy facility is going to be using up twice as much energy as the entire fucking state. If you don't think that that's going to make your bill skyrocket, even if they have like regulation or not regulation, but even if like the data center people make a pinky promise that they're going to pay, they're going to pay for all of their energy, it's not going to be forever. Eventually, those rates, those electric rates that you're having in your state, are going to start going up, and they're going to try to sneak it through so people don't really notice or correlate it back to the data center. But it will be because of that. Man, shit sucks, dude.
16 of those daily. That is double the amount that the entire state of Utah uses.
This is a crazy fit, by the way. Am I wrong? This is a crazy fit. This is like it zips up from here up. I have literally never seen a shirt like this. This is wild. I'm digging the tattoos though. They're giving like anime vibes.
This is going to completely obliterate all of the nature and the entire ecosystem around it, including all the farmland that is being used to grow produce for the citizens of Utah. Scientists have said that it will practically be reduced to dust, working even further to shrink the Great Salt Lake. Massive amounts of Utah residents have been going out to protest this new data center, and we need to be calling their representatives, telling them exactly what they think, because this is actively destroying our planet. Our voices matter, and we have to do whatever we can to ensure that this data center does not.
Yeah, we're getting to a point where the public's will, even like white people, like the white people like who live in these like towns or whatever, their will does not matter to the people in power. I live in St. Louis, right? There was a data center proposal for a place called the Armory, which is somewhat nearby to where I am. It was nobody wanted it. There was huge amounts of protests, and they temporarily backed off of the idea for a little bit. But I think it sounds like now they are overruling it, and they're just going to go through and barrel through with building this data center. It's stuff it's data centers are things that nobody wants. They produce like 20 jobs for the entire data center. They suck up all of the energy. Your energy rates go through the roof. Even if they have some temporary moratorium off the goodwill of the data center provider, that's going to go away eventually. They suck up all the water. They create a lot of noise and heat. They destroy the environment. And all of this for what? Right? All of this for what? To displace the labor market, right? To displace the labor market. Oh, great. To create AI slop videos to throw on Facebook to confuse boomers. Like, oh, what a great use of this technology. Or to deep fake, child essay stuff. Like, oh, okay, yeah, we really want this technology. Nobody in general, nobody wants this shit. Like, nobody wants this shit, and it's being forced down our fucking throats. And there's multiple reasons for that, right? But obviously there's the bubble aspect, the capital owner's interest in like trying to keep this, keep the gravy train rolling as long as they possibly can, right? So that's one aspect. There's the disinformation aspect, which is beneficial again to the billionaires, the pedo billionaires at the top of our system. there's the surveillance aspect, which is going to be used to surveil all of us and to try to tamp down any sort of actual popular resistance to this sort of stuff. You know, like this is literally is like it is being forced upon us. These data centers are being forced onto us. They're terrible. Nobody wants them, and they're going to be used to subjugate us in the future. Great. What a great world we live in. What a great system of government we have here. Isn't it, folks? Don't we love it? Don't we just love capitalism? Isn't it just the fucking best? Yeah. Anyway, I do, you know, the fit's growing on me. It was kind of crazy the first time I saw it, but, you know, I like it. Like I said, I do like the tattoos as well. Okay. Moggin, everybody. Mother's Day. My mom, he's mogging his mother now. My mom became a parent at 15 and refused to let the world write her story for her. She rewrote it herself by earning a PhD, building a business, and raising me along the way. Happy Mother's Day. Let's see here. Dude, he looks the exact same. He hasn't changed at all. He has the same baby face, dude. Mockler Media. Well, there you go. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, good for him. I mean, good for her and good for him. He's pretty, you know, he's pretty successful. He's like a little baby. He's like 22 or something, but he's pretty successful already. Good for him. This is Virginia.
What we saw yesterday in the state of Tennessee was a political lynching.
Or sorry, not this is Tennessee. This is for so Tennessee. They got rid of the only black district, I think. So now black people will have zero representation in the state of Tennessee. Whoops.
In the state of Tennessee was a political lynching. It is. Saw yesterday in the state of Tennessee was a political lynching. It is very much an era of retribution that we are entering into in the United States of America across the South, where 12 to 20 United States House seats that are black majority are at risk of being taken away, and nearly 200 seats for state House members and state Senate members are likely to be taken away by the rise of white supremacy and its attempt to solidify its power on behalf of the biggest white supremacist in the United States of America, which is the President of the United States. I was expelled, and my other black colleague was expelled from the Tennessee General Assembly standing up against gun violence, while our white colleague was not. That's not accidental or coincidental.
Yeah, get ready, people. Rise up, prepare. Go to your local gun show and get prepared. I'm not. I mean, I'm kind of joking, but there is going to be, like, you know, we're entering a very perilous time in American politics. So, you know, if you do want to, you know, be prepared in ways other than just political information, I will not try and stop you. What is this? Lots of Mother's Day stuff. What's this? Know the work rules. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. A quote by radical leftist communist extremist JFK, as everybody knows. Says appropriate. Oh, you're so sweet. This is like an HR thing. Okay. And then Hassan down here says, those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. Hello, ICE. Yeah. It is funny when he just quotes JFK, the fucking like neoliberal, you know, classic American president. The people go nutty mode about it, man. Ethan Klein got caught on mic calling actress and fellow poker player like Alika Osipova a prostitute. She later found out and responded, "A man who speaks about women this way says a lot about himself." Publicly, here, let's see. Publicly calling a woman a prostitute because of what she wears or where she's from is unacceptable. That's her.
Pretty sure she's a prostitute, and I really do want to say that. But I mean, like,
no, that's not right.
I mean, I'm serious. Yes.
She was playing she was playing at CPT.
Yeah. I mean, that should never leave your lips, dude. Like, what are you doing, man? Ethan Klein has always been incredibly misogynistic, by the way. He is oh man, okay. When October 7th happened, the way he talked about I just remember this so distinctly. I used to sometimes watch H3, by the way. I don't touch it anymore, but I remember after October 7th, the way he was talking about Mia Khalifa for going out. Mia Khalifa went out there and like said like, you know, she stands with the Palestinian resistance or whatever. And he was saying the most abhorrent things I had ever fucking heard. And I was like, I guess I had never really, like, I mean, I'm sure that he had said some misogynistic things in the past and that it, like, maybe I just like let it go because it didn't seem like it. When he said that, I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, is this really what you think about women? And like, I think especially ever since ever since October 7th, he's been really going after like women content creators. Like he's suing mostly women. Like he does have like a vitriolic hatred for women. And like, I don't know, it's just become more and more obvious as the years go on.
Yeah.
I don't think she was.
No, she was, bro.
She was.
You're very wrong.
Oh, she's.
Yeah, don't say
she's
that.
right there. Well, okay, I apologize then. That was rude.
That's not right.
Well, I didn't say it to her. Luckily, she didn't hear me. I don't want to be rude, but I'm pretty sure she's a.
Yikes. Anyway, Caroline Kwan says misogynists love to call women prostitutes, also love to use words like slut, whore, hoe, etc., because they view it as an easy way to degrade and humiliate women. It gives them a sense of power and demonstrate how they view women through an objectifying lens. Whether women engage in sex work or not, this language and behavior is employed to police women's choices and strip them of their full personhood. 100%. Unacceptable. Okay, I'm going to look for a fun one to end on, and then I'm going to get out of here. What's this? AOC, I personally do not trust somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, a proven bigot and anti-Semite on the issues of what is good for Gazans and Israelis. I don't think it benefits our movement to align with white nationalists. Our woke queen, Marjorie Taylor Greene. For those unaware, when I say things like Marjorie Taylor Greene, you know, she like I'm joking when I say like she threw off the shackles of conservatism and has become the woke warrior that we always knew she could be. Like, I'm joking. I don't really trust her. Okay, I'm just being a little bit like having a little bit of fun or whatever. Ryan Grimm disagrees though, apparently. But I don't know if I agree with this take though from Ryan Grimm. I usually like Ryan Grimm's opinions pretty significantly, but he says MTG sacrificed her political career to stand against genocide. Stand against genocide. She spoke up more than others. I will give her a little bit of credit for that. Against Trump. Not particularly. She wasn't that much against Trump. Against the Epstein class, she did have some, you know, she did talk about the Epstein files a decent amount. I'll give her that. And to defend the survivors, I do think she's done some of those things. Like, I do think that, so, okay, she kind of stood against the genocide in Gaza. She occasionally called it a genocide 2 years after it happened, right? After the genocide accelerated after October 8th. You know, that does get her some points because it's more than a lot of fucking Democrats were even willing to do. And she did, I do think that she might genuinely, you know, genuinely be opposed to like the Epstein stuff or whatever. Like, be like, I do trust her. I think that she's genuine on that issue. I still don't believe her that much though. He says if that doesn't earn credibility, I don't know what possibly could. I don't know. I still don't really trust her at all. Because she is like she is kind of like a conspiracist and a like, in my opinion, kind of a nut job. So I still don't have any trust for her to be like consistent in the future or anything. I don't trust her not to turn around and flip flop on any of these issues if she decided to go back, you know, to try and get back into power or something. But I don't know. Anyway, I also think that she's an opportunist to some extent as well. I think that she was seeing where the winds were blowing, and she kind of like followed along with that. So whatever. Anyway, I disagree with Ryan Grimm. See, people? See? I just don't believe everything the people I like said. This is me using critical thinking to somewhat agree with parts of it and disagree with the thesis of this statement from everybody's favorite Lego AI propagandist, Ryan Grimm. There you go. Comrades, any last words? This is Pepe with a Nazi symbol on him. So much for the tolerant left. And then the face. That's pretty funny, right? So because okay, the reason why this is so funny to me, by the way, this one might be the last one because it got me laughing pretty hard. The reason that this is so funny to me is because I'm picturing like these internet pilled like debate lord like I don't know, like Reddit atheist style edgelords who are like reactionaries online, like the typical like Groyper type dude who has never touched grass, who has never like seen a woman, who is like perpetually in a state of being like a 13-year-old man on the internet, right? Or a 13-year-old boy, I should say, on the internet. Who is so like who would be so so internet pilled that they would, in their final moments after being being caught by these leftists to thrown up in the guillotine for being a reactionary or whatever, that his last words would be, so much for the tolerant left. And then do this fucking face. Let me see if I can. Oh my gosh. I hate Twitter, dude. Okay, where did it go? Here, let me see if I can. There we go. Can I zoom in? I can't zoom in anymore. Whatever. Anyway, there you go. Then make this fucking face down here. You can barely see it on this view, and then he just gets chopped. I think that's a pretty funny one. That's a funny one to end it. I'll go ahead and give that one a like. Nice job, Audra Nix. No war but class war. Okay, cool. Well, that's it, people. That's what you get for today. Hope you enjoyed it. I think it was pretty good. I think it was a pretty good stream. Thanks for watching. If you're watching the VOD, love you too. I'll see you all again tomorrow for the regularly planned broadcast. 4 to 4:30 is usually when I start. So, yeah, this has been Technically Clay, and the stream is technically over. Bye-bye.